We've just learned new details of yesterday's raid. A source familiar says that agents were at the private residence, Mar-a-Lago, for a reported 9 hours. The New York Post is also reporting moments ago that FBI agents scoured Melania Trump's wardrobe and spent several hours combing through Trump's private office. Joining us now is former Trump acting AG Matt Whitaker and Harmeet Dillon, chairwoman of the Republican National Lawyers Association. Matt, aside from what we just heard, you think there are a couple of other objectionable things that happened with this raid? Tell us.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's not the least disruptive way that they could have obtained this information. Obviously, a subpoena or continued negotiation. I think if I was in that chair as Attorney General, I would have tried to find every way to continue to have them at the table, negotiate, and find a way to get this so we didn't have to execute a search warrant. I just think it's draconian to have a former President of the United States subpoenaed like this.
Now, Harmeet, the wardrobe, they're rummaging around in Melania's wardrobe. I don't know if they were trying on the clothes. I don't know, looking in the pockets. I don't know what's going on. But this is just the Keystone Cops. They are obviously grasping at straws after Liz Cheney gave everybody their marching orders last week, the week before, and Eric Holder, all those other people down the line.
Laura, this is just embarrassing. I mean, we are taught as kids to respect the police and then as lawyers to respect the operation of our justice system. And then you see this type of just bizarre behavior. To Matt's point, not only is it the last resort if you're the president to have a search warrant executed against you, it should be the last resort for any citizen, particularly one whose lawyers are actively engaging with the law enforcement agency like President Trump's lawyers were. What should have been done here is seeking a subpoena and then having the president hash it out and the president's lawyers hash it out with the DOJ about that. But instead, they've chosen this really disgusting display. And I think it's going to have a long-lasting impact on the credibility of the institution.
Matt, tell us about Reinhardt, the magistrate in this case.
Yeah, well, so
overseeing
a lot's come out. I mean, first of all, he's an Obama donor. He represented Epstein and others in that situation in Florida, and some believe that he had a bright legal future. Ultimately, you know, and had promoted him to as high as the Supreme Court, possibly.
Right, who is this? Is a scuttlebutt among the Biden people?
You know, they qualify these lists, and they don't publish them like President Trump did. But you know, the people that I've talked to that know he was on a path, possibly in an earlier time, to either be an Article III judge or ultimately serve at a much higher level than he finds himself today.
So that's kind of a great gimme for the Democrats, and for anyone who wants to get Trump, you get this guy.
Yeah, I was wondering why they got the search warrant in West Palm Beach, of all places, and I don't know if they were magistrate shopping, if they decided that's where they're going to do the case, or
it just all stinks to high heaven.
It does. Every choice they made was to advantage themselves in this.
Well, Harmeet, we found out, and Matt, we found out tonight in the Washington Post that they had met with the investigators back in June, and they had been told to put a lock on their storage room, right? And so they put a lock on the storage room. They locked up the boxes, and then they broke through the lock, when they came for the search warrant. And so, they get in the safe. I guess they found nothing in the safe. I don't even. The safe was a new safe, hadn't even been used. They break the safe cracker. I mean, this is just like Inspector Clouseau stuff. But Inspector Clouseau's a lot better. Harmeet.
Well, I don't think it's Inspector Clouseau stuff, actually, Laura. I think it is made for television stuff. And so how do you have the drama that you need for continued January 6 hearings without these types of dramatic incidents like that? And, to the point of this magistrate judge, Laura, there's a lot that we found out, including that he recused himself from the Trump versus Clinton lawsuit very recently, in the summer of this year. And then and also we have found out that he has these very negative Facebook posts about President Trump in 2017. That's come out this evening as well. And so he recused himself from one lawsuit, but then he's able to rule on this one after making negative remarks about President Trump in writing back in 2017. So there's a lot that stinks about this situation and this particular judge being on the case.
Now, and Matt, Christopher Wray, I think it was last week, made a big point of saying that our folks at the FBI need to avoid the appearance of bias or the lack of objectivity in what we do. That was Christopher Wray last week. How's that working out?
It's not. It's not working out at all. In fact, they have whistleblowers coming to members of Congress and complaining about the political bias of the FBI.
Well, we need to hear from more whistleblowers. I mean,
Absolutely.
we need patriots who are inside these agencies to explain to the American people how the will of the president in some cases, but also how the lack of objectivity is just par for the course.
Yeah, and how the law is supposed to be enforced as well, without favor or fear.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be a blind Lady Justice. Now the Lady Justice has like 5 eyes. All right, Harmeet, Matt, great to see you both. Now, if the establishment GOP thinks that they can shy away from commenting on this raid, we're going to see where the facts lead us. Well, my many angle disabuses you of that.